Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
We love our pets. They're our best friends as we navigate life's ups and downs with a wag or a purr just when we need it. The Royal Veterinary College is there for our pets. Home to Europe's largest small animal referrals hospital, with over 200 specialists providing expert care 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The bond between a pet and their person is worth fighting for, and that's the belief that inspired the RVC Memory Tree, a beautiful handmade sculpture standing in the heart of the RVC Small Animal Referrals Hospital, adorned with gold, silver and copper leaves, each one engraved with the name of a beloved pet, and each one funding the extraordinary work happening there every day. For just £10 a month, you can dedicate a leaf in the name of your pet, celebrating your pet's life, whilst also helping to fund life-saving treatment and care for animals in need. Visit rvcact.com/memory tree to dedicate a leaf today and let your pet's memory live on.
Hey, my dog lovers, stop picking hairs off your jumper and listen up. The National Dog Survey from Dogs Trust is back, and whether you have your own dog or just admire them from afar, we want the full scoop. From the joyful moments that make you laugh to the soggy splashed-filled ones you'd rather not relive. Just 15 minutes today could make a huge difference for the nation's dogs of tomorrow. Join our muddy trousered community by searching Dogs Trust National Dog Survey.
It's Sunday, June 14th, and this is Doing the Thing. I'm Erin Marlow from It's a Fandom Thing, and I'm here with SheSource's Emma Stern.
Hi.
And Alex and Ben from the Faithful to Podcasts podcast.
Hello.
Hello, and we're here to talk about everything happening in our worlds this week. How is everyone?
Yes, very well, thank you. It's been a nice week this week, despite the weather. I don't know if you're getting nice weather over stateside, but over in the UK we seem to be getting nothing but rain. So bring some of your sunshine to us.
Yeah, we're getting nothing but heat. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a lot of heat over here. Yeah.
Oh no.
It's been very sweaty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, if you're listening live on Wizard Radio Station, where We Do the Thing is live every Sunday from 8 p.m. UK time, you can get involved by contacting us via Instagram or Twitter at Wiz Radio, or you can text us at 078-071-83538. Email is station@wizardradio.com, and all of our contact details are at www.wizardradio.com. So to kick things off, and I also know for stateside, the other big thing for us in the United States was the Knicks winning. But so we've got huge sports news with that, and also the World Cup is kicking off on Friday. There, of course, has been controversy with that. There have been, of course, Trump's controversial visa rules, meaning that some fans and players can't even make it to the tournament. So let me start first with you, Emma. Are you a fan, because I know you're a fan of the Knicks. Found that before
correct.
Recording time. But are you like a fan of the World Cup? Are you planning on watching it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be really honest. I grew up with, I know this, I'm going to say soccer as an American. I grew up with soccer in my life. But I didn't really grow up watching it at all on TV. Like, full disclosure, I watched it once in, like, I think middle school or high school, and I much prefer being involved in it when it's live, like when I'm seeing a game live or if I'm like playing casually with friends. So I am completely ignorant to the World Cup, like of it all. But I was trying to read up the other day. I always read my New York Times morning newsletter, and thank goodness they sent out a newsletter that was like, if you know nothing about the World Cup, start here. And I was like, thank you so much. But it's been really fun here in New York because like yesterday on the trains, yesterday was, you know, the last game of the NBA Finals, and it was just a mix of people wearing Knicks hats with the jerseys of whatever World Cup team they were at, and people who were just out like from day till night celebrating. And so I would just call myself a celebratory fan when it comes to the World Cup. Like we're all rooting for each other's teams at the end of the day, and it's really nice to see a sense of like international camaraderie as well in New York City right now. But I don't know much beyond that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Alex and Ben, since you are not in the United States, how does it feel for you watching like all the World Cup stuff and everything in the coverage? And
well, football in the especially in England and Scotland, we live in Scotland, and it's quite a big deal. So it's blanket coverage on TV over here. Every channel, every match. We're supporting Scotland, and we're very pleased with their win last night, very early in the morning. But we woke up to find out that they won 1-0, so rooting for them. So first time they've been in the World Cup for, I believe, 28 years, and it's the first time they've won for almost like 30 to 40 years, I think. So it was a huge deal for them getting that win last night.
Wow.
Really big.
It depends on the algorithm. I mean, it's a big event, isn't it? So it does feel like it's everywhere. But I mean, my algorithms online are just showing people going to America and they're shocked that they can't walk to the stadium. Like, that seems to be the
I've seen that.
It's like,
We tried to warn you all.
What's happening in America? What's happening?
Yes, I don't know if you saw Erin, but we really tried to warn everybody. We were like, you cannot walk from the train. We wish that you could, but we're telling you, don't try and cross the highway. Like, it's not gonna happen.
And there's going to be people trying.
There will be people trying, sadly, because obviously I think the World Cup is associated with people having fun and having a few drinks, and sadly that might be a puzzle to some people. But yeah, I mean, is the part I've not looked into it too much, but is the public transport links not as good over in America, or is it just something they're not putting on?
I think it depends on the area you're in. I'm in Colorado, and while we have some public transportation, it's still like very much a car-driven state. And I know New York is different because you've got a lot of public transportation, and that's a great system. And I know we've been trying forever here to try and get better public transportation. I mean, I know like in LA, it's like still car-driven. So
Car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so different, you know, throughout the United States. Every city feels different, and every public transport system is therefore very different, depending where you are. I'm also originally from New Jersey, so that's where some of the World Cup is happening, is in New Jersey. And I know that's also part of the issue is we're like, in Jersey, we're solid like half train, half car. It's sort of a choose your own adventure. But the result of that though is that like sometimes it's hard to just take the train all the way through. So you can take the path to the Meadowlands and go see the games, but you're not going to walk easily from the station to the stadium, because that would just make too much sense if we set that up that way. So.
Yeah. Why do something that's common sense is involved?
Yeah. We
but in
tend
New
to
York, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I visited New York. This was when I was at college, so a few years back. I don't want to tell my age here, but I remember that the metro or the underground was amazing. The subway, sorry, was amazing. So British, yeah. And it was great. And there's always like an adventure on the subway as well. There's always a story to tell. There's always something going on. It's like its own kind of community down there. It was a lot of fun going around places to places around the subway. So I enjoyed that a lot. And as you said, it was very connected. So I enjoyed that. But obviously for the World Cup, they're sharing with Canada and Mexico. And so it's all kind of all over the place. So I guess you like you say, it's potluck whether you kind of got the good connections or not.
Yeah. But I do like what you said, Emma, earlier about kind of like bringing people together, because I think right now that is so lacking. And it's understandable with, I'm sure outside, I'm sure in Scotland, the way you're looking at the United States has to be a lot different now. And so to have sort of that camaraderie has got to be a nice little change, maybe. And maybe, I mean, I don't know, a glimmer of hope wherever you can find it seems to be, because I'm not a big follower of it either. But I think just that glimmer of hope of maybe we can try and come together a little bit for just a few minutes.
I mean, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's also really fun having so many visitors from around the world here right now who get to partake in it as well. And I've been thinking about this, for example, with the World Cup. I don't really understand what's going on. And I was like, would that be fake of me to head to a bar and cheer on? And now I'm sort of thinking like, no, because I know that when, like, I've been a Knicks fan for a while, right? And I didn't really care last night when we were all out on the street watching the game together. It was like, in that moment, did it really matter if you had watched every single game that season and you could name more than three? The answer was no, unless you're just supremely pretentious. But other than that, I was like, yeah, I think this was a great moment to show maybe there shouldn't be so many rules to join in, right? And to cheer for a community. And I think that's also like one of the biggest things that I hope a lot of people in New York have walked away with. I know there's a lot of jokes about the performative fans, but at the end of the day, it's a community building moment. People want community, and it was so fun to just see, like, you didn't necessarily even need a reservation at a restaurant last night to watch the Knicks or to watch any of the games that were happening. And that was certainly unusual, was like to just walk around with a friend and listen to, we were like, where is that sound coming from? And to just walk towards a crowd of people and like join in was such a special experience. So I hope as the World Cup continues that, like, there's sort of that vibe that continues of learning more about a sport that you don't know about, learning more about like a fandom, and there's sometimes like a whole set of rules that go with that. So that's what's been so fun and exciting. And I think as like the summer continues to kick off, I hope that continues.
Yeah, and I love that you said as a fandom, because as someone who hosts a podcast that's, dedicated to, like, fandom and pop culture, I think people forget that sports is a fandom. That's like where fandom kind of started, and I think people forget that. Yeah, that community and stuff. I know that's the way it was. I'm a baseball person, and I'm a Chicago Cubs fan. And so when they finally won the World Series, I was crying. I was like literally crying, because it was one of those kind of once in a lifetime kind of moments. It was like a really exciting game, and there was that community feeling, even though I wasn't there, but it was still felt very communal. So yeah, I think we need a lot more of that for sure.
Nice to be able to find a fandom or a community that you can just be welcomed into, even if you're not an expert on it. You're still welcomed, and you're still allowed to sit there and watch it with them, and you can learn as you're watching. It's nice to have that moment of in a community, which is kind of rare at the moment, where things are so polarized. It's nice just for everyone to be welcoming. Let's watch, have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why I think it doesn't matter if you know everything about it, to just kind of go there and learn from others and grow together. I mean, there are always going to be gatekeepers of every fandom out there, but there are people that are going to welcome you in, no matter, if you're new or old to the fandom. So yeah, but I love that we're referring to it as a fandom, because that gets so lost. It really does, because so many people that are part of that, like, will look down at other fandoms. I'm like, well, you're in a fandom. It's the same thing, you collect merch, you collect, wearing jerseys and stuff like that. So yeah, same like with the Super Bowl and everything here. So yeah. And for the Knicks, I just want to say congratulations, because I know for everybody there, that was a huge, huge deal. So I know for you, that's probably like humongous right now, Emma. And I know I kept seeing like these TikToks were on my algorithm, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, stay inside, because if we win, it's going to not be fun out on the streets. So were people like,
go out on the streets, do the opposite. But yeah, the streets were crazy. I mean, it was. I think I said I'm from New Jersey, and so I've been in and out of the city my whole life, and I haven't really seen anything like last night in my life, which is not super long, but still, the streets were the streets were crazy. I mean, it was just like you wanted to walk home as long as you could. You didn't want to miss any of it, but then it was fun when you did get on the subway every time the doors opened and more fans came on. Everybody was screaming and yelling, and everybody was, from what I witnessed, really respectful, and poles were climbed, and fire trucks would come through, and everybody would be dapping up the firemen and women inside the trucks, and everyone was just going crazy. I did see online, I will say, a little bit of destruction, which is never fun to see, like people, breaking windshields and whatnot, and I don't think that that's really what the celebration was meant to be about. But it was just really fun at the end of the night. Like, the normal subway experience, I'm sure everyone can relate to this, is that everybody's on their phone, and like it's really hard to strike up a conversation with strangers these days increasingly. And so I think that was really lovely, was to be on the street and to lock eyes with a stranger, and you're both wearing like the Knicks colors, and you just both scream at each other because you're like, it really happened. Because it was like, not only did we win, but we won by like this much. Like the game was so stressful and everybody was so locked in the whole time. So yeah, honestly, like again, the streets were crazy, chaotic. If you were in a car last night, like you weren't getting home for hours. But I think more importantly, what was awesome about it was just the human connection that I think everybody is so craving, and I'm sure that you guys can also relate to, like that huge win for Scotland. I'm just sure it's like so nice to lock eyes with a stranger and high five them for something.
Even when you go into the shop, like someone was wearing the t-shirt and you're like, oh, you're excited for the game, and then like normally you would just buy your items and leave. You have like that 30-40 second conversation which you wouldn't normally have, and it's just nice to actually hear like something positive for once, because all we've heard on our side about the World Cup is that the tickets aren't selling, people can't get there, no one's going to go, and it's all just so like negative. But then hearing your version of events, like, oh, actually no, the people actually in the communities are having a nice time. So it's nice to actually hear something fairly positive coming out of America. Actually, it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's sadly rare. Yeah.
Nice.
But Alex and Ben, speaking of celebrations, like in Scotland, like, and I don't know if either of you have any information about this, but I went to a screening of celebrating the 30th anniversary of Train Spotting, which that was like, oh my gosh. And they had a thing beforehand, because I went to Alamo Draft House here, and they had this special like thing with like a football team that was there. Like, I don't know if you know anything about this, and there was like a rap song like celebrating this. You both look like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you talking about the Scottish World Cup song that they released, or is it something else?
No, this is old.
Okay.
This is like from like the 90s or maybe even earlier than that. And it was something like they had briefly like a football team or something, like an American football team, like like American football, I mean. But yeah. So I didn't know if you knew anything about that, but it was just kind of interesting. I don't know why that just struck me when we're talking about sports, because what is this?
Erin, maybe you need to rap it to bring it back to our memory. Like, you should demonstrate.
Yeah, go hear some bars. Come on,
no,
top
I don't
it.
think you want to hear me doing that.
No, I'm not. I don't know. I don't know of any American football teams.
This is the most I've ever talked about sports in my entire
life. I know, me too.
Listen,
I'm impressed I got this far.
Guys, I was wondering if you, because there's a thing going around which is quite popular in the UK right now. Where you know Susan Boyle? She sang, and she's quite a big singer.
Mm-hmm.
She did the Scottish song for the football team this year, and she did it in association with Iron Brew, which is a huge drink in Scotland. Everyone drinks it. In fact, their veins are full of it. And is basically halfway through it, she starts breakdancing, and it's like a huge thing over in Scotland. It's not her; it's someone pretending to be her. But they kind of. I mean, it would be outstanding if it was her.
Like, that's impressive.
This past week, she's rebranded her, so she looks like Adele all of a sudden.
She is. She's like
walking around in fur coat.
Yes.
She's got her sunglasses on, and she's singing songs about ice cream.
She does a Cornetto advert now, which is ice cream. Yeah. Subo's had a glow up, and we're all on board. It's fantastic. I think she's.
I'm just picturing the breakdancing thing now, and
I highly recommend you look it up. It's this look I Am Bruce Susan Boyle.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to look that up, and I hope others do too, because wow, yeah. I haven't heard that name in a long time too, because I know the name, but I haven't heard it in I think maybe over a decade for sure, probably. So
since her album party, probably the last time her name kind of went viral, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that famous hashtag.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, now that you say it, it comes back.
Yes.
So are the celebrations in the streets in Scotland when people win? I'm curious. Is it kind of just people go out and just drink a lot and then go party in the streets? Is it the same? Because that's kind of what happens here.
I mean, we were given a bank holiday, and the match is 48 hours until the bank holiday. So they gave us an extra day off, 48 hours after the match.
Only in Scotland as well. England are fuming.
They are.
So because the football match was on at 2 a.m. this morning, so Sunday morning, in the UK. So a lot of people stayed up to watch it. So a lot of people didn't get to bed. So they were drinking pretty solidly throughout the night to the morning. I heard outside of my window, I asked Ben the same, can you hear the people cheering? And there was a crowd of people cheering about 6 a.m. this morning. Clearly had a few drinks, had a lot of fun.
They let us know they won.
They let us know, so I didn't need to check it up, so that was fine. So that was absolutely perfect. But yeah, no, it's a big deal. It really is. I mean, when England, the women's team, won the World Cup, it was amazing, and people have to be kept being corrected because there's a song, Three Lions, it's coming home, it's football coming home, and everyone keeps getting asked, is football coming home? Is England going to win the World Cup? And everyone needs to be reminded, yes, we have won the World Cup. The women's football team won the World Cup. So they've done it. So we need to remember that they've done it. So the men are training behind now. So then, as usual, Lovely. 9 times out of 10 anyway. Exactly.
Yeah.
And and when the women won, they had a big parade, didn't they? They toured the UK. A lot of them became celebrities. They were doing Strictly or Dancing with the Stars in America, the UK version Strictly. They were doing I'm a Celebrity reality show. So they became huge stars off the back of it. And it really kicked women's football, Premier League and First Division football up a notch. And now it's aired on television.
Still waiting for the men.
Still waiting for the men to catch up, of course.
If only.
Exactly, I know. But yeah, I mean, as I said, Scotland haven't been in a World Cup for quite a time. They are super excited about it, and they're really confident they're going to get past the group stages too. And I really hope they do, because I'd be pleased as punch for Scotland if they can get themselves a good place in the tournament this year. Not so much for England. I'm not so fussed about them anymore.
Oh.
I mean it with love. Absolute love.
But, yeah. Well, I love that thing about it being the women's team that you were talking about before, because, I'm sure I saw you, Emma, flip your hair back. And that was awesome. And the men having to catch up. Yeah, because I think that is still something that goes on, where people still think of it as that's the man's thing, and women into it. Yeah.
It's absolutely nutty, and it does break that. And
the women's team are better.
The women's team are better. Facts are facts, and the women's team are better. They've won the European Cup. They've won the World Cup. There's nothing more they can do now. They've done it all.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it is a similar situation in the States. Our women's team is much better than our men's team. And I can't rattle off all of the titles that they've won because I'm not so knowledgeable about it. But I do think it's interesting. There's a lawsuit in recent, last 5 years where the women's team was suing over the pay gap between the teams as well still, which was, I'd love to sort of look into some of the politics of that too. And that's so cool that you were saying that some of the people from the women's team went on to participate in things like Strictly and became like faces in the media, because I don't know, Erin, if you feel like that happens. I mean, with women's sports in the US specifically, we have some soccer stars, right? We could start naming off names, Megan Rapinoe and Abby Wambach, who have gone on, now they're on podcasts, and we have women in the WNBA. But you could also say as long as one is called the NBA and the WNBA, it doesn't really feel so equal at the end of the day. But yeah, I don't know about them feeling like these like mega super like these superstars afterwards as they deserve to be. So that's so cool to hear that that's how it went down in Scotland for them.
Well, it was the whole of the UK. I mean, it's just such a big deal.
Nice.
And they now are, a lot of the female football stars are like pundits. So where you would exclusively see for men's football matches on like Premiership football matches or international football matches, like as little as like 4 or 5 years ago, it would just be all male pundits. Now there's female and male pundits, and they're ex-footballers or female referees or just people, women who follow the sport, and it's just lovely to see that. But that pay gap, I agree with you. That's still an issue. That's still an issue here as well.
Even promotional, like we're getting paid by clubs. Like the women were getting paid like a few thousand, and the men were getting paid hundreds of thousands. And that's still a thing. Like Jill Scott, who's like the most famous one, she was on Celebrity. She had to run a cafe at the same time, and she still does run a cafe with her girlfriend. But like she was still having to work a part-time job where the men were on like £1 million. So there's still issues, but like they're still getting there, I guess.
Yes, but it's not getting there quick enough, and and as I say, like the popularity of women's football is so much more over here. I mean, it's not on the par of male football, but it will hopefully one day. But
they even had to push the show on the TV channels, didn't they? To begin with, you were having commentators on TV saying, "Oh, they don't need to air it," and it was like. We really there was a real big push by the left and the right wing media. Like, no, you do need to air it because they're winning, so they had no choice in the end, but they ended up doing really well. But if it wasn't for that, probably wouldn't have even aired it. So it's just those little pushes get you there, I guess, one step at a time.
Yeah, and that pay gap is true, I think, for most industries that are like, there's still pay gap in film, there's still pay gap in television, there's still like all of that. And I think, I think here it's more like you've got tennis stars and you've got like gymnastic stars and stuff like that. I think that gets highlighted more than like other sports here as far as women in it. I don't know if you agree with that, Emma, but that's the way it feels like to me.
I know, like you were just saying before, that I don't want to misspeak on this, but I do know that there are some, I think, women in the WNBA that also have to work other jobs, or but what's exciting is I do see there's always like a crossover between, I think, a lot of the media, film and TV industries and sports, because sports is a part of the entertainment industry as well. I had this great professor in college who said sports is the original reality television because it was truly unscripted. And that's like, people tuned in because we didn't know how it was going to go. It's the same feeling when you watch an episode of reality TV and it feels like it's unfolding live, real time in front of you. It feels like it. And so I think about that a lot as well. And I always say like athletes are actors as well. And so all of this to say, I think also we see so many big faces in the media in the States, at least, who are starting to actually invest and take women's sports more seriously, which is really exciting. If you think about like being seen courtside at these Knicks games, what's also exciting is people who want to be seen courtside at the Liberty games in New York. And if you haven't been to a Liberty game in the New York area, it's like the best. Ellie the elephant, the mascot, has gone viral. I'm obsessed with her dancing. It's incredible. And if you haven't seen her on social media, that's another, add that to your Susan Boyle list, and then look up Ellie the elephant.
I'm looking now.
in Brooklyn. It's the best mascot out there is Ellie the elephant. But anyway, I think it's also interesting the way that like visibility of certain, like if you think about some of the celebrity owners in the NBA, if we're staying with that league, that there's some rising owners and investors in especially women's soccer and the WNBA here. So I am interested to see over the next few years, like what all that sort of looks like between the industries of entertainment in general.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I mean, some do actually become actors, too.
Yeah.
In sports.
Yeah.
So it happens, that crossover there. Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about some more stuff going on in the world of entertainment. So we'll be right back.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Welcome back to Doing the Thing. I'm Erin Marlow from It's a Fandom Thing, and I'm here with SheSource's Emma Stern and Alex and Ben from the Faithful to Podcasts podcast. And YouTube stars are basically taking the film world by storm, especially when it comes to horror. If you haven't heard, which I will be surprised if you haven't heard, Obsession and Backrooms, 2 new horror movies from young YouTube filmmakers. Kane Parsons did Backrooms and Curry Barker did Obsession. They have taken the box office by storm. And the other big part of this is a lot of Gen Z are going to the movies. They're going back to the movie theaters time and time again. With Obsession, it did something that a lot of movies don't do. Most movies don't. It increased its box office week over week for the first few weeks, which does not happen. And it even beat The Mandalorian and Grogu and the He-Man movie and everything like that. So it seems to be indicating that people want original content. But there's also the part of it where you've got YouTube creators going on to make these movies that were made independently and then got picked up by big distributors. So Alex and Ben, I don't know over there in Scotland, are either of these movies out there right now, or have you watched either of them?
Yes.
Yeah, they are out, but we haven't watched them. But yeah, Backrooms, definitely. Obsession, I'm not as familiar with. We're in the UK.
No.
I think that was last year, wasn't it? But yeah, Backrooms has been a big thing. I mean, if you're in internet culture, like you kind of know about the creepy original images and like just the offsetting images, I guess. But yeah, that has been a big thing over here. Backrooms, it's yeah, especially online. I think it's like everyday people. If you said Backrooms to them, they probably wouldn't know about like the original images and the original creepy videos and stuff. But Gen Z online culture definitely know about 4chan and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's where it's obviously the link to. It's interesting you're saying about the Gen Z going to the cinema a lot more, because I read an article recently saying the exact same thing. They're saying that a lot of Gen Z now are going to the cinema preferably to watching a film at home, and it's very much a predominantly younger market, and it's nice to see that with film and cinema, because it was getting frightening how it was slowly dying.
Since
and people we stopped going to the cinema for ages. We only go every now and then for the next big thing, really. It's nice. I've not heard about it being popular with the younger generation, so no, I have. And
what do you think it is that's making them go back all of a sudden? Is it because they don't have any of their own places or places to hang out themselves, so that's where they're going, or what do you think it is?
I think it's that they're desperate maybe for something that they didn't grow up with, because, you know, they're also buying physical media now too. So it's like they're maybe desperate for that almost connection, because when you're streaming, you don't have that connection. It's a little bit more solitary. And that's my guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, Emma, if you agree, if you think it's that or something else, but I do think there is a part of it that they've grown up on their screens so much that they're looking for, even though it's still on a screen, but you know what I mean? Like it's more authentic in a way, I guess is the best way to put it.
Maybe even a nostalgic hit. Is it too early to say it can be nostalgic, maybe? Makes me feel really old saying that, but maybe that's part of it.
No, I mean, I think nostalgia is something that a lot of these studios and producers actually like to try and bet on, because that feels a little bit safer from a financial standpoint, because nostalgia is such a strong emotion. I mean, I think that's where a lot of the analog stuff is coming from. But I think, like, when I think about the rise of analog, I was talking about this with my mom yesterday, actually. We were out at this cafe, and this cafe had, like, shelves and shelves of vinyls, and they had a record player right there, and they would show every day what was playing, and I was looking through all the vinyls and thinking about the rise of that. And I was telling her cassette players are back, and all of those like sort of collector items. I feel like it has to do a little bit with like a sense of something that's tangible, and that kind of goes along with what you were saying about connection. But I think what's interesting about these movies is that they both were born out of YouTube careers, and that is something that does find Gen Z at home and brings them out of their seat to the theater, because really like what movie theaters and what live theaters are competing with, if we think about it, is the convenience of being entertained at home with something in the palm of your hand at a moment's notice and to watch whatever you want. So the other thing is like you have to have formed some sort of connection with the viewer and the audience at home already to get them out of their seats and to the movie theater. So it's sort of like it goes both ways, because yes, like even going back to all of the sports talk that we just had has to do with getting out of your house and connecting with other people over something. And this is sort of the same thing. I think everybody wants that, but starting at home on YouTube and building that connection already and not needing to rely on nostalgia for that emotional connection, I think is also probably playing into the success here.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point with it. And I know like there's been like criticism of that's not how you become a filmmaker, which is just not true. You can become a filmmaker however you become a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And I think that's very true. They have that built-in audience. I know, especially for Backrooms, going to see that in the theater, there were people that were like, there were kids in there because they had grown up watching that on YouTube. And, you know, Kane Parsons is 20 years old. So that is really young to have this huge success. And he had the built-in audience because I was not really that familiar with it. I kind of like, you know, studied up beforehand, and they had a little pre-show thing that kind of went into it. And so that's what's interesting about that one, is there's always already that built-in audience with that one. I think for Curry Barker, who did Obsession, he had a built-in audience, but I think that was part of it. But I think also with that one is causing a lot of discussions online, especially with women, and discussing like the themes of the film and what it's exploring and what it's taking on and how it's talking about relationships and taking on like certain tropes like the nice guy trope and stuff like that. So I think with that one really got the word of mouth going, and people are going back more than once to see it, more than twice to see it. And I think because it's original and it's not the same IP over and over again and regurgitating the same thing, I think that plays a huge part. And it makes sense to me that it would be horror, because horror just kind of in general does that, and it's usually cheaper to make and you can make a lot more money on it. So I think that's the other part of it too, for sure. Yeah,
it's interesting. We were speaking a couple of days ago with someone, and we were talking funny about Backrooms, the film Backrooms, and they brought up a really interesting point that do you remember when the Blair Witch Project came out in the late 90s, and how that was publicized, and it was the first time a film was done online, and they built a fake website and they pretended the film was real footage, and like nothing had been done like that before, and it grasped everyone. I remember being a teenager and being like, I have to see this film. I have to see it. It's the marketing was so well done, and it just became a phenomenon. And it feels like this is happening again now. That, as you said, with the YouTube director, there's a following for them. It's online. There's a lot of people talking about it.
Pre-built with
the marketing,
pre-built with already
an urban myth attached to it. And I just, as you say, I think young people like to be challenged, and I feel like they don't want to be seen as this kind of like lazy, slobbery kind of like just looking at the same content online all the time. They don't. They want to be. Their interest needs to be piqued, and I think this is a really great way this is happening. I loved it.
That it's two young directors from YouTube. Like another generation of people, probably people from YouTube, wouldn't be creating films. They would be creating makeup palettes. It's so different. Like the generation before on YouTube, like Jeffree Star or James Charles, like they would, or Shane Dawson, they weren't. They're not going to be creative actually making a project like this. It's interesting that these 20, 26-year-olds are using a talent, and obviously they've grown up with cameras and films,
They've
phone
grown-
cameras.
That's it. They've grown up with it, haven't they? So the first
Yeah.
generation of YouTubers, this was still new to them as well, and so they were experimenting with it, and they may have made some good choices, they may have made some bad choices, but the talent that's coming out now, who are directing these films so successfully, have grown up with it, and so they know how to do it right, and that's taking nothing away from them.
They maybe even be pushing against the movie industry. Like, the movie industry wants to do sequels, or they want to, like, they brought back He-Man, it flopped. They want to bring back something else, it doesn't do well. You bring in young talent who are doing original IP, like you said, and surprise, surprise, people are enjoying it. And it's like Scary Movie 6 came back, got terrible reviews. No one wanted that humour back in mainstream. No one's gone to watch it, and it's like it's almost a pushback against what the big bosses in Hollywood are trying to force on, and that goes back again with buying physical media again, isn't it? It's like people want to own a movie that they watch, or a game they watch, or music they want to own it. They don't want to have a streaming service where it can be taken away at a manager's or a boss's flick of a switch.
Well, that's like, I don't know if you guys heard, but Hacks recently wrapped the last season. It's on HBO right now, and the showrunners of Hacks said that they are going to release all 5 seasons of the show on DVDs because they want people to be able to physically own the show just for the future. And that goes exactly like with what you were just saying. It's just people want to have ownership of something, of stories that mean a lot to them at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a part of them as well. It's their story as well as this person who produced it.
And Hacks was great.
Hacks is outstanding.
Love Hacks. Yeah, love Hacks.
The physical media part of it, like when you were talking about, Emma, when you were talking about vinyl and everything like that, that makes me so happy because I mourn like the loss of like video stores and that feeling of having something tangible and in your hands to see, and you can watch whenever you want to, and you don't have to be like limited by which streaming service it is on. And you know, the fact that we had lost some media because people were just like, nah, we're going to pull it, we're not going to release it, we're going to pull it from here and you'll never be able to watch it again, that to me is kind of scary. So I'm glad that younger generations want that physical media. That makes me happy. And I think especially with the original content, I just worry Hollywood usually doesn't learn the lesson they need to learn. And I'm worried what they're going to learn from this is, okay, let's create an obsession universe. Let's create a backrooms universe instead of let's take more chances on people. We're going to actually create IP from something that is being successful right now. And that's my one really big worry because they generally don't always learn what they should be learning, which is to take more chances. I mean, they even had earlier this year, another YouTube creator released the movie The Iron Lung. And this is an even more interesting one because that was self-financed and self-released. They didn't have a huge production company releasing it like Blumhouse and Focus Features and A24. They didn't have that backing. They did it. He did it himself. And it made a lot of money, like shocked people how much money that made. And so you hope that what they'll learn is to have original product that people want to watch, take chances on filmmakers and everything. But I'm very pessimistic about that.
Well, and if I can just add on really quick, I think the other thing that stands out to me listening to these stories so far is that we have a lot of young men in these directing positions so far. And I think what hopefully the lesson can be is historically, a lot of first-time directors or writers or creators tend to be from people of underrepresented backgrounds, and they become first-time directors, writers, showrunners. So then studios don't want to take the quote-unquote risk on them. But what this opens up is a conversation where there's not as many excuses left for that reason to no longer take that financial risk. So if somebody comes with their own backing, with their own audience, and YouTube in this way is really like blown open the playing field as it already has for so long of like, you can go through film school, you can do all of the right formal things to train and educate yourself as a filmmaker on paper, and you could still graduate, make a short film, and be told the best thing to do would be to put it on YouTube. So like when you kind of think about it that way, it's interesting that there's this pushback against like YouTube filmmakers, quote unquote, because it's this great resource for exactly what you were saying, Erin, hopefully to take chances on more first timers and let more people into the industry with new original stories to say and to bring.
Yeah.
It's a shame that YouTube still has that stigma to it. Like it's like people say like, oh, you're on YouTube, well then you're not as good as someone who's made a TV show. And flipping the coin a little bit, a lot of YouTubers still see that the pinnacle of their career should be that they should aspire to be on TV. And it's such a weird thing. It's like
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. YouTube.
Because KSI has done that. KSI is now a judge on Britain's Got Talent, and it's like he must have been. I don't know if it can't just be about the money, but he must have been so many more viewers and so much more money in advertising doing his own YouTube channel. Why is he doing Britain's Got Talent, which is on like series 13, getting like 1 million viewers?
Yeah,
now? Like
it's
a failing show. It's like why do some people see TV or getting onto TV as the pinnacle, whereas their YouTube career,
which they can control themselves, so they can make the content they want to make, they can talk about the topics they want to talk about,
but then again, you have celebrities who go out and make a podcast and make YouTube channels, and it's like they're doing the opposite thing. So maybe everyone just wants what everyone else has.
Yeah,
it's an odd thing, isn't it? You have some celebrities going on and making YouTube channels.
I think that is part of it, and I think part of it's also jealousy. I think some of when people are speaking this way about, like, there was this tweet with Kane Parsons, who did Backrooms, where someone said, I just know that he was not the one primarily directing that. They had other people on there, and because he's so young, they're not going to hand him this. And Mark Duplass, who's in the movie, actually came out and said, no, I was on this set. I can speak to the fact that he was directing us. And if you watch an interview with Kane Parsons, you'll be like, wait, you're only 20 years old? You'd be like, there's no way that, I mean, this guy is like, he's just amazing. He's really smart, really seems like 20 years older than he is. And so I think there's that jealousy of like, he's only 20 years old and he gets to make this movie and I don't get to make that movie. And it's also gatekeeping, I think, too. And yeah, it's a lot of that. And now with these movies, you have the inevitable backlash of people saying all of these are overrated and these aren't actually good movies. Because that's what also happens. People like to hate on things that are successful.
Yeah, I know. It's instantly, people can't have nice things, can they?
Yeah. People don't want people to have nice things, I think is part of it, sadly, because they want the nice things too.
Yeah.
But it's great when people are celebrating it. Like you mentioned, Blair Witch Project earlier was mentioned, and Obsession is going to surpass that as far as like how successful it's been with it had a $750,000 budget, and it's going to they're projecting like 320 to maybe 400 million worldwide. Wow. That's like unheard of. Yeah. And they had, speaking of marketing, and I wanted to know everybody's thoughts sort of on how movies are marketed. When they marketed Obsession, they had this website, because, it's the thing in it is somebody makes a wish on a one wish willow that this girl that they have a crush on will love them more than anybody else in the world, literally says more than anybody else in the world, and breaks it, and that wish comes true. And so they had like a website called onewishwillow.com, and they had like a fake commercial for it. You could buy a One Wish Willow. They have a text line that you get texts from quote unquote Nikki, the woman in there. And like, then there's like videos and everything like that they send you. I'm still getting texts from that number. Like I got one yesterday. So it's like that kind of marketing. Like I know with Blair Witch Project, like of course those stars, which it ended up kind of hurting their careers, they weren't allowed to even market the film because everybody had to believe they were real people.
And they died.
Yeah. So is there marketing? So Alex and Ben, has there ever been any marketing for film that has made you like really stand up and take notice, or be like, oh, I gotta go see that because of the marketing?
I mean, I could think of an example for a television series. I do love it. I love it. Again, this is almost a nostalgic thing. I love it when channels in the UK remember their old idents and they bring them out for when they're making shows which are based in the time when the idents were used. That's a silly thing to say.
But I know what show you're talking about. Yeah.
But there was a series, I think you got it too, called It's a Sin by Russell T Davies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was aired on Channel 4 in the UK. And Channel 4 actually started in the early 80s. And they famously have blocks. In the 80s, they used to have these blocks that used to fly toward the screen. And for the whole weekend when they were airing the first episode of It's a Sin, they basically changed all their idents, all their on-screen graphics, all the like commercials for their next program to everything they used to use in the 80s. And it was just every time I'm thinking about it now and I get goosebumps over it because I loved it. it's silly little things like that. I just love that kind of like
extra care to detail, isn't it?
It's a care to detail. It's a nod to their history as well as a nod to that they have such confidence in the show that they're airing, this brand new show, that they want to publicise it by kind of changing everything that channel's about for one weekend. So they did that. That's probably my...
And they've done that with Rivals recently. We've got sandwiches in the supermarket from the 80s that you can buy, which is all marketed for Rivals, the Disney Plus show. It's like just little stuff like that where you're just walking into the shop and you see the high heels on a sandwich and it's like a salmon and prawn
cocktail.
Yeah, prawn cocktail sandwich, and it's like that was from you used to sell it in the 80s and it has the old shop logo on it, and it's like that's just for a TV
That's
show.
another thing. They used all the packaging from the supermarket, the Waitrose, and all the packaging on all the Rivals stuff is 80s packaging. Again,
it's just nostalgia again. Nostalgia is just it's too powerful sometimes. Too powerful.
That's true. Yeah. Has anything ever worked for you, Emma, with any marketing?
I mean, it's even funny to hear everything that you were just listing off, Erin, about the obsession marketing, because I have seen none of it.
Oh, really?
But I've still heard about the movie, and it's all word of mouth. So that also goes to show, I think, like word of mouth is such a powerful tool, obviously. And maybe it's because I'm not a horror gal. It's not on my algorithms. I don't see it. You couldn't pay me to go and see a horror movie, but I've heard of it. Like I haven't been able to escape it. And that's sort of the other thing about the video store that I miss too, I think, is like the idea that you would go and talk to somebody about a movie and have a conversation. And that's also what's coming back with all of these, is talking with friends about what you have to go to the theater and see. And okay, I'll go and grab somebody. Like the other one I've been hearing about through word of mouth is Sheep Detective. And everybody's like, no, you have to, and you'll be ruined by the end. You're going to cry. And I was like, okay, great. Like, I guess that's also not like, I don't know. I'm like, do I see horror and be like scared, or do I go and see Sheep Detective and sob? But I don't know. When I think of like movie marketing, the thing that always comes to mind is Barbie, and I know that was forever ago now in our worlds. But I think the other thing about that kind of connects to what we're talking about is Barbie just became an event to go to, and yes, it was the Barbenheimer of it all. But you know, and then I think about big films like Wicked afterwards that kind of felt like they followed the Barbie playbook a little bit in terms of marketing and all of the collaborations that they did with other brands, and also getting to buy things that became part of like your wardrobe almost, that you could kind of take home with you to the movie. And that also hits on so much nostalgia, speaking of nostalgia, with both Barbie and Wicked, if you're a musical theater fan, or if you just like Wizard of Oz and all of that. But those are kind of instances where the marketing was like almost overwhelming at points. So I don't know. Maybe that's why it comes to my mind, because it was everywhere.
I remember the marketing of the drama. Like you say, you see social media clips or word of mouth. A lot of the time, when like a TV show or film is like, I have to go see that, it's because I've seen like a 30-second TikTok where someone said, "You won't believe the ending. There's a super twist here." And that's what happened with the drama with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. And I think that was just, I didn't see anything about the film. I just saw people's reactions to it online, and that was enough to sort of spur you in.
That was a sleeper hit as well, wasn't it? I don't think a lot of people expected that to be particularly very popular. And again, because of viral marketing, it seemed to just get into everyone's imagination, and everyone wanted to watch it.
Yeah, that one did really well, actually, too. Yeah, which I think surprised people. Because didn't they do like a fake wedding announcement for the two of them
Vogue.
too? Yeah, that's
Vogue.
right. Yeah.
That's what I was just thinking about, because it was so sort of disjointing to see Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, and then Vogue, like the caption on Instagram was like, "We invite you to the wedding of their character names," and that's what got me into it immediately, because they kind of purposely mess with your idea of like knowing who these celebrities are in our culture, and then forcing you instead to see them as their characters, which I thought was really smart. And you were like, "Oh, what's this about?" immediately, even though it told you nothing about the film. You know?
Yeah. I know, though, with that one, a lot of people were really upset because, I won't say, because of what the twist is. And a lot of people were upset and thinking that the marketing was a little bit too cold or callous. for that, for what the twist is.
Yeah.
So I heard that, but yeah, I think that's always interesting, especially when you have the two stars. Like I know with Wuthering Heights, they tried to do that with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, which that one I don't think did as well, but they tried to do that hype where they had them going around acting like they were almost in love with each other in some interviews and stuff. And they did like photo shoots. Didn't they do photo shoots as well for that one?
I mean, I do think that they recouped in their opening weekend, I think. And so it certainly wasn't like a box office flop, that one, but I don't think it had the same ratio of what movies like Possession and Backroom in terms of what it took to make them. Yeah, and what it's gonna
I heard more of Charlie XCX's album than the actual Wuthering Heights film. It was more her marketing from that, I think, was going off. So.
The album was so good. The album was
good.
Yeah, so I think that might be one where the marketing worked for one person better than it did for the people they were trying to get the marketing to work for. You know, I mean, it happens. I mean, I think I've seen more marketing really shifting with horror movies where they do those things of like, here's a number to call. They did it with Long Legs as well. And here's some place to visit first, or visit this website and get more information, which I think harkens more back to the way the Blair Witch Project was marketed.
Or even like the first Scream film. Remember, like they pretended that Drew Barrymore was the main character, didn't they? And like no one knew that she wasn't. It was like that's another example of some brilliant marketing.
Because the poster is Drew Barrymore with the hand over her face, and everyone thought, "Oh, Drew Barrymore, that's the Paul.
Huge star.
Let's go watch. Yeah, huge star doing this slasher film. Let's go see it. Can't wait." And she spoiler alert, if anyone's not seen it, just in case. She dies in the first 10 minutes, and it's like wow, and it blows your mind. It's really great, and it's a talking point, and it's something you leave cinema and everyone wants to talk about. The Sixth Sense did it really excellently. The twist in that, like everyone knew there's a twist, but you weren't allowed to say it, and so it made you want to go and find out what the twist was.
I think that's like the secret, isn't it? It's like having a secret that you're not allowed to tell someone unless you go watch the film is a great marketing tool, because it forces people to go in there and become part of that secret as well, where they can then leave and say, I'm not telling you what happens, I've seen it.
I can't say it. As soon as you find out, we can talk about it, and so it gives you an excuse to then go and talk
about it. And that works for horror.
Yeah. It's harder now to keep those secrets because of social media. I think Barbarian was the last one in that genre that did it really well, where amazingly enough, people weren't spoiling that movie because there is a twist in that movie. And so amazingly it like lasted for a while, but can you imagine if The Sixth Sense came out now? It'd be like that twist would be spoiled in like 10 seconds flat and ruin it.
Last quick moment from Spider-Man, the other two Spider-Man turned up and the whole cinema erupted.
Oh yeah, we went to see it on the night of his release. I had a little it was like a 10-year-old kid sat next to me, and I nudged Ben and I went, This kid's crying. I don't know what to do. Because he was so happy. It was a lovely moment.
They kept that wow. But it is impossible to keep things spoiler-free now with so many cameras on set. But it happens every now and then.
Well, and that emotion of it goes back to what we were talking about before with the communal thing, like having that community of experiencing something together and feeling that emotion together, which is so rare now. And you don't get that if you're just watching on your phone or you're just at home. So then when you get that communal of like jump scares together, crying together, laughing together, that I think can make the movie even better, or talking about it afterwards together. Yeah,
that's it. That makes community sense. I think it is. That's what it is. It's a sense of community, and it's been lacking for a while. And I think people are slowly getting back to it, and it's nice. It's nice to have that connection with one another.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. And I think that's actually been a big theme for us today, is that community and getting together, because we were talking about that with sports earlier, which I still can't believe we talked about sports so much. But that community aspect, and so finding that with seeing movies together, finding that in fandom and everything like that, and how much we're longing for that when we are so disconnected from each other. As much as we are connected, we are disconnected. So try and find that community, everybody. And thank you all so much for joining us for this episode of Doing the Thing. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed this, even with all the sports talk. I thought that was so much fun talking about sports for that long. Or probably the longest I talk about it for like the next 10 years. Yeah,
For real.
But that's all the time we have for Doing the Thing today. So thank you again, Alex, Ben, and Emma. And let's just have you tell everybody where listeners can find you. So Alex and Ben.
Go on, you can go.
Oh, shall I do it? I'll fill it out, shall I? Yeah, just search Faithful 2 Podcasts or Faithful Television Podcasts. We're on Spotify, YouTube, and any of your favorite podcast apps. We're also on Instagram and TikTok, where you can see little shorts of our videos on there as well.
Awesome. And Emma?
You can find SheSources, the show that I host on Wizard Radio. We'll be back in July. We're also a podcast available on all platforms where you listen to your podcasts. On Instagram at SheSources with an underscore at the end, because SheSources by itself is not available.
Awesome. Thank you. And this is Erin, and you can find my podcast, It's a Fandom Thing, on all podcast players. Our website is itsafandomthingpod.com. And remember to catch new episodes of Doing the Thing live on Wizard Radio Station every Sunday from 8 p.m. UK time and on all podcast platforms from Monday morning. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.